Okay, hello everyone. This is a slightly different presentation from the norm. All right, given the recent REITs Bull Run lately, where would I take some profits off my top three REITs? Right, this as of 1st October 2024. Right, MPAC is my top REIT holding. All right, so this Maple Tree Pan Asia Commercial Trust. Right, if you listen to my video, I said 1.23 was a good place to buy. I managed to get some at 1.23. Right, I also queued at 1.22 and 1.21, but I didn't get it. Right, so but at least I managed to get 1.23. Anyway, where will I take profit given the run up? All right, given the impact is strong in some areas, right? The Singapore portfolio is really strong. I think it's 60% and a core strength in the portfolio. However, I'm not overly fond of the Festival Walk. All right, Festival Walk is my biggest discomfort with the REIT itself. All right, I just think that it has a lot of competition coming up, and I'm not sure that it will do well in the future. Right, and of course, there's also weakness in Japan. All right, and I'm not sure about China whether they will recover or not. Right, so this is what my plan is for MPAC. All right, at roughly 1.58 or maybe slightly below. All right, I will let go of 10% of my holdings. All right, around 1.7. All right, I'll let go another 10%, and I value MPAC as a whole as at around $1.76, which is NAV, right? Primarily because I give a premium to its Singapore portfolio, but I also give a discount to its overseas portfolio, right? Especially Festival Walk, right? So overall, I just rate it roughly at its NAV. So around its NAV, which is 1.6 or 1.76 here, right? Anywhere between this band of 1.7 to 1.85, right? I expect to sell up to 50% of my holdings, right? So I'll sell 10% around this number, 10% around this number, and somewhere within this range, I'll sell another 30%, right? The rest of the 30%, the rest of the 50% rather, I intend to keep for the longer term, right? So why did I show you this part of the chart is because this is where the merger was announced with the Pan Asia side, right? So this was only Vivo City and MBC and some of the small Singapore portfolios, right? So it's a pure play Singapore portfolio here, right? Then when it was announced that they will merge, right, this drop happened, right? So this is more or less the time whereby MPAC has been Pan Asia Trust. Okay, so the next REIT, my second biggest REIT is CICT. Right, so NAV currently is 2.07. Right, overall this is quite a stable REIT. So I do want to keep my majority of the holdings long term. Right, so I'll keep 80% of what I have long term, but I'll sell 10% at 2.20 or maybe 2.19 somewhere there, and another 10% at 2.29. All right. Why these numbers is because I value CICT at about 10% premium to its NAV, which is 2.07. Right. So a 10% premium would value CICT at 2.27. Right. Originally, I wanted to sell at 2.3. Right, because I thought that was a nice number above NAV. Right. However, because of the preferential offerings that I subscribe to, all right, I think I would be willing to release some extra at 2.2. All right, so overall, I'll dump 10% at 2.2 and another 10% at 2.3. I'll keep 80% even above 2.3. Okay, however, if it gets overtly valued, I will consider selling some more. All right, so the long-term plan for CICT is I'll keep 80%. All right, SCT is my third largest REIT. Right, again, NAV is 2.25. Overall, it's a very stable portfolio, but I just don't see much upside for rentals in Singapore for the shopping side. So again, I value it similarly to CICT. All right, 10% premium to NAV, which is $2.47. All right, I actually managed to divest some FCT about 10% at $2.38, right? Somewhere around here. I managed to divest some about 10% already, right? I probably intend to divest another 10% at 2.5, all right? So because that is slightly above NAV, all right? So I may divest some more at 2.5, right? And then the rest of the 80% of FCT I intend to keep for the long term as well. All right. So anyway, I'll just go through FCT's business update. All right, because while I saw these slides earlier, I didn't talk about it because there wasn't too much new information that was highlighted. Right. So anyway, we know their occupancy is extremely high, right? 98.7% to 99.7%, basically is fully occupied, right? Leverage around 40%, right? Cost of debt is going down slightly, right? We're happy to see this, right? Because I think they refinance some of their more expensive debt with the cash inflow lately, right? But the point of concern is actually this one, tenant sales. You can see that third quarter 23, right, is 5% improvement year on year, whereas third quarter 24 is only a 0.7% improvement year on year. That means tenant sales isn't really improving, which is a trend I see across all the retail REITs in Singapore, right? And also with CICT's retail side, if you watch my last presentation. Alright, so this is the reason why I don't think rentals will improve too much moving forward. Alright, so anyway, GDP growth was 2.9% for second quarter 2024. Alright, MTI forecast 1 to 3%. So you can see that if I take the middle range, it's definitely lower than 2.9%. Alright, inflation moderated at 2.9% year on year. Right, this may mean also that the top line for the REITs or the revenue cannot go up anymore, right? Because the mall cannot say, hey, I got inflation problems, please pay me higher rent. Alright, so yeah, so you can see that again, this is overall for Singapore, alright. Suburban prime retail rents up 0.3% quarter on quarter, right? Orchard Road up 1.2% quarter on quarter. Right, so the debt, alright, this year there's no refinancing risk, right? Next year, this refinancing, hopefully they can, hopefully interest rates go down further and they can secure better rates, right? So they pay less interest, right? Shopper traffic, I think, yeah, nothing much to say. You can look at how they have performed post-COVID, right? Is actually, so this COVID is the baseline, right? You can see that roughly their sales is 20% higher, right? But I don't know whether it's people spending more or it's because of purely due to inflation, right? You need to remember that inflation has been quite rampant the past few years, and the higher sales could be just a byproduct of the fact that people are spending on the same number of things, just that things are more expensive lately. Right, so with that, I'll end the presentation. Again, please remember, none of this financial advice. Whatever I said is based on my own needs and for my own portfolio. Okay, please do your own due diligence before you do anything. Right, selling now may pose as a risk as there's no place to park your funds because all the interest rates are going down, right? So if you sell, you must know where that money is going to move to. Otherwise, you might end up with lower rates, and then you may buy back when the prices are higher, right? So again, just a reminder, none of what I say is financial advice. Thank you and goodbye.